Okay, there's a second. Yeah, right. All right, well, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Mix Podcast presented by the Local Fix Foundation. I am your host, Matt. We are here today at a shared universe, the Bellworks studio location in Holmdel, Studio 2.0, I guess they call it. Joining me today is part owner of Coffee Corral in Red Bank, Eric Reulbach. Welcome to the show.
Hello, everyone.
Thank you for joining us today. I'm glad we finally got a chance to do this. We've been trying to schedule this forever.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome. So yeah, let's just, get right into it. I mean, I asked you to come onto the show because I am a regular at Coffee Corral. My wife and I were there quite often. Lately, it's just been me, and my wife has been sending me on errands, and I've been picking up her chai tea. But the first thing I just want to say is just, brown nose a little bit. You guys are my favorite spot for coffee, period. I drink a lot of coffee every single day. I'm a black coffee guy. But your whole vibe, the whole store, the location, it's just always so welcoming and so great. The people you have working there, it's wonderful. And obviously, of course, your product is amazing.
Thank you very much. The one thing that we do try to pride ourselves on is everyone can go into a coffee shop. Service is the utmost importance. Having a good product really kind of sells itself.
Yeah, it absolutely does. So I want to ask a little bit about the history. I actually saw, on Instagram a couple days ago, you guys had posted celebrating 9 years in that location, and you had told a little story about how when you started it, people, thought you were crazy. So I'd love to hear the story because, truth be told, I think you are you're in Red Bank, but you're definitely not like on the main drag, but your spot is cool though, So tell me a little about the story. How'd you guys got started?
So we are, originally we were on the corner of Bergen and Shrewsbury Ave. Now that has changed, and now it's Dr. James Parker Boulevard. The property started off as a barbershop, a candy store, so there was always a lot of love in the building itself. Coffee Corral came about in roughly 2011. The idea came about and came to fruition in April of 2012. Let's say this, it's nice to know who we're talking about here. So we call him the big guy, the chairman of the board. I also call him my father-in-law, Russ Crossan. It was his construction office before Coffee Corral.
Really?
So it was his construction office since 1990, and what he would do is he had it. The economic downturn came. He had a tenant in there at the time. The guy ended up not paying, leaving overnight, and Russ is a general contractor by trade, and so when he was bidding work, he wasn't able to win these public bids. He had to do something to keep it going, and that's how Coffee Corral came about. He says, I'm going to roast coffee, something that everyone needs. And like you were saying, everyone thought they were crazy. The west side of town,
yeah,
mid-early 2010s, you're nuts.
Yeah.
Honestly, the guy's a genius.
Right?
The guy's a genius. I'll say that. I thank him so much for a lot of things, but I got to give it to him. If it wasn't for Coffee Corral, I wouldn't have met my wife. I wouldn't be sitting here with you guys right now. I would probably be either living in Texas or living in Chicago. Oh,
so that's actually how you met Cortland.
So I started off as a customer 2013, 2014.
No way.
I actually got a gift card, one of the original to-go mugs from an ex-girlfriend's mother for Christmas one year. And I'll show her. I'll be like, this is how deep I am. I've had an account for many years before, and then I would say September of 16, Cortland was training for a half marathon, and she knew that I ran because a friend of ours, Joe Durso from Kitsch Organic, put us in touch and said, hey, you guys might get along. And one thing led to another. We went on one date, and now we've been married for a year.
That's amazing. That's like the plot of a movie. You're a customer at the coffee shop, and now
I'll always say this too. I didn't ask her out. She asked me out. I'll say that I had nothing to do with it. I just went for the coffee. I knew if I messed this up, where am I going to go? Rook or another competitor? I just couldn't do it. And so luckily now things turned and global pandemic, and now
Right?
here we are.
Man, now would she agree with that statement that
Oh yeah,
that she?
100%. Yeah, 100%.
That's
She asked
funny.
me out. Yeah, she has to agree with that.
That's funny because I always tell people my wife and I, Jackie, we met at work. My very first job, both of our first jobs out of college. I'm a few years older than her. I hired her to her first job. I was supervising this call center at the time, and she came in for a job just like a lot of people in call centers. Like they just wanted a job, getting out of college, like whatever. And I hired her, and I remember my boss said to me at the time, my boss goes, "You're not allowed to date her." I'm like, I have no intention, fingers crossed, behind my back, because obviously I did. I started, interestingly enough, it was all kind of based around coffee, too. I would bring, coffee to her in the morning, like her vanilla latte, whatever it was, that she liked. But I was trying to be careful about it because I was like, oh, why is the boss only bringing her coffee? So I had to tiptoe around that, but then she ended up leaving for another job, and then the rest is history. But
And now you guys been married about over a year now.
yeah, no, we've been married. When did we get married? 2017. I
Okay.
probably shouldn't have stumbled over
Because
that.
I know
but yeah.
Jackie by her maiden name, and then one day she came in and she goes, "I have to change my name."
Yes.
And I was like, "Oh, congratulations."
Yep. Yeah,
So
that was actually because she because I told her, I was like, I don't care if you change your name, And she's like, I want to do it for you. I was like, I don't care. I want to do it for you. Okay, fine, do it. So she finally did it. Because I had no idea. It's a pain in the ass to do that.
I got caught in. So we went to the courthouse. We did everything. So we got married March 14th
Yeah.
of 2020. So when the Monday was the 16th, we went to the courthouse, and all we could think about was the pandemic. What are we gonna do?
Yeah.
What's the business gonna do? Are we going on a honeymoon to Tahiti? We didn't go on the honeymoon to Tahiti. And then Cortland forgot to change her name. So now it's been like a contention of like who's who. Like,
Yeah.
Now it's funny too where people have like different names, or like, are they married? Are they not married? And like I make a point.
Yeah, exactly. And I would joke with Jackie. I would say, no, I don't care if you change your name. I was like, but if you do, I was like, you'll get a lot of people that give you the same compliment they give me. Oh my God, that's such a cool ass name. Because I never get tired of hearing that.
Yeah, my last name's not that cool. I also got to give it to my wife where she's very much professional, and that is her name. And
Yeah.
she'll always go by it.
Right,
As long as
exactly.
you don't say, no, I'm not Mrs. Reulbach. Like, hey, I don't care.
Exactly. The one thing I told my wife, I said, you can do whatever you want as long as you don't hyphenate. I was like, don't hyphenate our two last names. That's the only thing I'm not going to go for.
We just refinanced, and the bank came back and had my name and her last name on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, she was dealing with a lot of it. I was like, we got to change this.
Yeah, exactly,
That's
man.
not gonna fly.
So is the building where you guys are, did that lend any inspiration to the name Coffee Corral? Because I personally think that particular building, the brick structure of the building, just lends itself to that kind of name. Like, it's just, you look at it, you're like, yeah, okay, I see it.
My wife's a big horse rider.
Oh, okay.
So my wife has loved horses. She's got a retired horse down in Virginia. She rides in Cold Snack. That is where the horses, the corral came
Yeah,
from.
very cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome. So speaking of stories, I want to know, because I think I posted this the other day too, about the giant roaster that you have in there. Did that recently just kick the bucket? Did I read that correctly? Or okay.
No, that again. So we have it's a very unique spot where we only have so much room, so we kind of have to make do with what we have. And depending on how the rain will come in, it might get into the drain.
Oh, okay.
What happened was I had to call in the big guy, the chairman of the board, my father-in-law, to help me kind of finagle some stuff and show Junior
Yeah.
how to take the flywheel off so I can properly clean the roaster.
Well, where'd you get that thing?
It's American made, Stephen Dietrich, and it is the largest roaster of that size. So that it's their IR series. It's a 12 kilo. You could roast. It's 26 pounds. So the
Right.
next larger roaster from there, next size up, is a 75 pound.
Wow.
So unless you're doing huge amounts of coffee, it's nice for us because I'll roast 18 pounds 3, 4, 5 times, but I could also go all the way down to like 3, 4, 5 pounds with the 75 pound roaster. You can't do that. It's just big weight all day.
Yeah. Wow. Like that's one of my, I talked about walking in. That one of my favorite things is walking in and just seeing that thing. It's just like you're right into it. It's right there. It's so cool to see. And it makes the whole place smell incredible.
It's so nice. We just did a whole cleaning on it, so it's back up to running to full strength. I had to do a little calibration, but it's honestly, man, it's like it really is fun roasting, and it's like it really incorporates a lot of things that I love to do. You get to work on the computer. It's a machine that you have to oil and clean.
Yeah.
But it also is like it's a marathon session. There's sometimes where I'm roasting 5, 6, 7 hours consistently, and you have to mentally stay in it. If one thing goes wrong, you could lose the whole roast.
Yeah, tell me a little bit more about the actual roasting process, because like I said, I'm not something of a coffee connoisseur. Like I know a lot about the beans and the origins, and I can certainly tell you what's good and what's crap coffee. But I know that there is. Like when I buy beans from you guys and I roast them at home, I buy the whole beans and I grind them up and I put them usually in my French press or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But I know that my roasting, like what I'm doing at home, is totally different than when I get a cup of coffee from you guys. So like, how does that all work? That's one thing I really don't know about.
Well, let's say this. Let's get terminology correct. You're brewing at home.
Right. Good
You're
point.
Not roasting.
Right.
Because I think you say roasting, I think you're taking my beans that are already roasted and then you're putting them in a stovetop and you're like heating them up a little bit, and they're like, and then that's because we have those people that come in, they want to buy green beans and they just want to pop it on the stove or do a little home, whether it's a sample or a little 1 kilo.
Yeah.
But how should I divulge into this? So let's do this. So we get coffees from all over the world. Single origin. We blend some of them, but we only do grade the highest grade. Some of the stuff we have are micro lots, where a farm in, let's say, Costa Rica will only have maybe an acre, and we'll buy that because we think that's the Costa Rican that's best. Who are we? We don't know anything. I just honestly, it's at some point, it's to go back to what you said, it's the atmosphere, it's the water, it's the vibe, it's the mood you're in today, it's the barista that poured the drink. So there's a whole, it's not just coffee in the cup. There's a lot of love and everything else that goes into it that makes it what it is. But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I mean, I love stuff like that because we were chatting before we started the podcast, and for years I would primarily only like do my coffee at home. I didn't because I drink coffee every single day, usually 2 cups. So I was like, I'm not gonna spend money on coffee every single day. I got a lot at home going on. But like when I do want to go out and get coffee, I would maybe go to Starbucks. I would go to Rook. I would always try to like find like local places or whatever. And truth be told, I have a couple of friends that work for Starbucks, so they'll yell at me for saying this. I don't think Starbucks coffee, like just their coffee, is all that good. Like, if I'm just being honest, I really don't think it's all that great. And for the longest time, Jackie is not a coffee drinker. She gets like the chai latte and other drinks from you guys. She would always go to Starbucks, and I would just go with her and like kind of get coffee there. But I never really enjoyed it, And then one day she was actually the one that discovered Coffee Corral. And she was like, I'm going to give this place a try. And she came back and she was like absolutely hooked on it. And I was like, let me get the coffee a try. And I tried it. I was like, this like really is so much better than a lot of the stuff I've had around here, even some of the other local spots. So what was my point with this? Oh, that's kind of what got us turned on to it because, I'm kind of a snob when it comes to coffee.
As you should be.
Yeah, exactly.
As you should be.
I see people with Dunkin' Donuts coffee sometimes, and I'm just like, I kind of look up at them and I'm like, what are you doing? Just come on now. Why even bother?
one of my favorite things is when someone comes in and says, I don't want a bitter coffee. I don't like this coffee because it's bitter. And you're like, coffee is inherently bitter.
Yeah.
It is a bitter,
That's the starting point.
I don't like, or someone's like, I don't like it acidic. And you're like, all right, well, coffee's acidic.
Yeah, that's like, I want a beer that's not carbonated. Well, you're drinking the wrong booze.
Yeah. I would say it's like non-alcoholic, but we actually have some nice decafs on board.
Yeah, you know what?
We have a new Mexican decaf, and it could be my favorite coffee in the store.
Really?
I'll just say this though, I'm a big Central American medium roast fan.
Yeah.
So light medium, and again, I married my wife, and in my vows, was for a love of Costa Rican coffee and heavy cream. There's three things that she got me on. One was I could pull up and park. If I had to walk 10, 15 feet, fine.
Yeah.
But there's always a parking spot. Two, I love the Costa Rican. And three, she was only one of the spots that had heavy cream.
That's, I never really paid attention to that because I usually get my coffee black, but I do notice that. Mm-hmm. That's interesting. And that's another, I love the fact that I can just pull them to your place and not have to, like, there's always parking. Even if I got to walk, 100 feet, it's still right there.
That is, and then if you don't too, we don't have an app. You can call us, you can text us. Yeah. We have house accounts, which make your life and our life even easier.
Oh my God.
We have a bunch of people that say, like, you know what, I don't want to come in anymore. I'll run your coffee out to you, no problem.
Yeah,
it's not a big building. I'll run it out in the rain.
The house account is like my favorite feature because for some place that I go regularly, my buddies and I have actually been talking about the Asbury Park Distilling in Asbury Park. Obviously, my friends and I would go there every Tuesday as part of another podcast I do, Talking Tacos. And our first stop before we go eat tacos at Loterias, we always go to Asbury Park Distilling, and we've been there every single Tuesday since roughly July. So we know the owners now. We know, Casey, the bartender, or whatever. Anyway, the point is that they're going to get some technology to enable house accounts, and my friends and I are both excited and terrified because it's like, just settle up at the end of the month and just 2 more cocktails. It's fine. It's fine.
That's the gift and the curse. So we have it both ways. I've worked at some places that they settle up at the end of the month and you get a bill and you're like, oh, man, that bill, that hurts.
It's like I drank a lot of coffee.
People don't want to see that. But it's also, excuse me, what we'll do is we have a prepaid account.
Right.
So for every 35 you put on in increments of 35, we'll give you $5, $10, $15 in correspondence. So basically it equals a free drink.
Yeah.
So for every 35, it's a free drink, and it's just easy use.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. Like, it's no muss, no fuss when I come in there. I really enjoy it. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about, I love this thing you've been doing on your social lately with the regulars. Like, that's such a cool idea.
Man, that is biting us in the butt.
Oh, really? Why?
You know how many regulars, like, people come in and, like, let's time frame. We're open every day, 6 to 6.
Yeah.
By 10 a.m., we could see 100, 200 people.
Yeah.
And any one of those could be a regular. And there's only 52 weeks in a year. So now some people, we've had it multiple times. Like, how come I'm not a regular? How come I'm not this?
Stop.
And it's like, yeah, like Matt, for you, how do you say you're not a regular?
Yeah.
When there's like 10 other people that are like, this person's been there since day one. Literally, He was the first customer. We still have our first customer who comes in. Like, how do you not call him like a regular? How is he not on there? And you know what it is? It's a lot of the male patrons' wives that come in. Be like, how come my husband's here all the time? How come he's not on? And we started wondering. I'm like, well, is it like, are they telling them they're coming here and doing something else? Like, this is my 5 minutes of freedom.
Oh my God.
So that's like, but we're getting, guys, we love all our regulars. And again, if you're what I consider a true regular, if I can just give you someone's name and you know what they're getting.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. That's too funny. I never even really thought about that as a possibility, but I could totally see that. Like, why am I not featured? I'm here 3 times a week. Yeah, well, that guy's here 7 times a week. Like.
We have a Bob Wood who's come. He just comes and he gets a medium house with cream. So now with that, if someone orders a large or a small, I go, let me get a large Bob Wood. Let me get a small Bob Wood. And it's like, you're a true regular if we're like making things off. And I'll tell you, man, we have a lot of fun. Now I'm even just thinking about it. It's a lot of
No, that's great. Yeah, that's awesome.
Building, man. Yeah.
That for me would be like the truest honor, because like we very subtly hint to our friends at the distillery every week. We're like, can you just name a drink after us? Because their drinks have very cool names. I don't know if you've ever been there before, but they're very like unique, different names. And we're like, just name a drink after us. That's all we want. Like, it'd be the coolest thing ever. Like, yeah, this is the Talking Tacos drink. I don't care what you put in it. Just name it.
We have the Death Mud.
Really?
The Death Mud is...
what is that?
Rich Barry. Rich Barry drinks the Death Mud, a Sumatra with chicory and a shot of espresso in it.
What's chicory?
Chicory is... chicory adds flavor. It's in the New Orleans. It's a root.
Oh yes, okay. I recognize the name. Okay, so he drinks that with that sounds like mud.
It's not for the faint of heart. You better have a strong stomach.
Yeah, I can. I'm already getting the rumbles just just thinking about it. Holy crap!
Oh, add some heavy cream on that too.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's one and done. I had one in my life, and I'll never have another one.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine even having one. I feel like I'd be full. Like
Shout out Rich Berry.
that's amazing. So do you guys have more plans for? I know you got this vendor village thing coming up in a couple of weeks, which I'm going to be there for, and I'm very excited. And maybe I just don't pay attention enough, but I feel like you've only recently started to like use that side space there a little bit when the weather's nice, and I absolutely love it.
This could be our fourth vendor village.
So I'm just not really that paying attention.
So
much.
we've had we've had it. We've had it before the pandemic. The pandemic really brought out. We always used the space, but we didn't optimize it. Now we've added some seating. We put a path through.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
We're gonna do a corral garden where we're gonna have, all the kids, man, all these influencers. They want to take photos, so we're gonna say, hey, we got the space. We're gonna do some stuff that you guys can come on over and take some photos.
That is such a genius idea. My wife will be there.
She will.
She'll want a place to take pictures. Yeah, because I remember the first time I really noticed that you guys using that space was kind of like around this time last year when I was already sick of not going outside enough and the weather was just starting to get nice. And I came to pick up some coffee and I just noticed there were some chairs out in the side and people were just kind of sitting, and it was a beautiful sunny like Saturday morning. And I was like, I'm just gonna sit here and drink my coffee like on this Saturday morning, and it was so relaxing and so chill. And I came back there another day. You guys had guys playing acoustic music. And I was like, this is the greatest. I was like, this is what I live for. Just this chill vibe. Like
that's how it. So the major events that we had pre-pandemic was the Easter egg hunt always, and then a pumpkin patch. So we would just go get a bunch of pumpkins and put them out for the kids, and then they can come, they can paint them. Again, my wife. This is all my wife. She's a genius. She is. I'll punt to her as much as I can because it's like she deserves all the credit that she gets. But the space, I mean, really, it's even as of last year, we had the fall festival that we added a petting zoo and pony rides.
Yeah, I saw that.
And then we brought it back for the Easter scavenger hunt this year. And then we added petting zoo, pony rides, music, cotton candy. Today I'm working on music for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. In the summer, we already have Sunday acoustics.
Nice.
That started last year. That's going to keep going. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head, but he's great.
Yeah, I was just
Gary
thinking.
Wright.
What's his name?
Gary Wright.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say my a friend of mine, Christian, he does a lot of acoustic music. I feel like he'd be like awesome for that kind of thing. It's just like very much that vibe. I'm a little too big for a pony ride, I think, but I'll still come check it out.
pass along Christian's info because I could use someone.
I definitely will.
Yeah, dealing with these musicians is tough, man. I got a full-time job, and we use. I signed up for Gig Salad, and these guys like hit me up. They put something on the internet within like 5 minutes and like hitting me up and complaining that I'm not getting back to them right away, where I'm trying to like roast coffee and
you're
run
like,
a
yo,
business.
relax, man. Just everybody thinks they're the most important person in the world.
And not to say that they aren't, but just don't get offended when I have other things to do and I don't know who you are, and you shouldn't be texting my personal phone and.
Yeah, like don't take it personally. I totally agree.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because Christian, I see him every Wednesday at Red Tank Brewing where I do trivia. Where Rich, who one of your baristas, he's there every week with his friends. So yeah, it's all connected. It's
we don't, since you guys switched from Sundays to Wednesdays. It's kind of tough because now he is off on Wednesdays, so he just goes plays. But other than that, he'd come in Monday and we'd have a whole discussion on it. But now I don't even know what you guys are talking about. Some of them are like some of the topics are like, well, it was always like a recap of the topics and how'd you do. It
Yeah.
was like, oh, we got second, we got this.
Yeah, it was funny because like I had been doing it there for like a whole year before the pandemic hit, and it used to be I was technically employed by this company and they would write all the questions because like I don't have time to come up with 8 rounds of trivia like every single week, but just going to host for a couple of hours is no big deal. But then obviously when the pandemic hit, the bars were closed. That the whole company that was bar trivia. So like, what the hell are we gonna do now? So then once the outdoor space started opening up again, that company wasn't really up and running yet. They were still kind of on sleep mode. But John, the owner of Red Tank, he texted me, he's like, hey, like, we have all this outdoor space now. He's like, do you want to bring trivia back? Like, we'll do Sunday night in the summer outdoor. And I was like, hell yeah. I was like, but, he's like, the company is not really doing much right now. So for a brief while there, I was writing all 8 rounds of trivia and making the picture rounds and stuff. And like Sunday was a lot of fun, especially in the summer and like being just outside. And I had a goal. My goal for Sunday trivia was because we were outside and I had the PA and I don't really pull any punches when it comes to trivia. I constantly mock the people that are there and just like we're all friends, but I give them a hard time and it's just a bunch of like dick and fart jokes. Like I have stupid humor. So my goal was to annoy the people eating at Teak just down the street because they were all eating outside at the time, and I would try so hard. I just wanted someone to walk over and be like, hey, can you shut up? Like, I'm trying to enjoy a nice quiet Sunday dinner, but it never happened. So I guess I gotta try harder this year, but before too long we'll be doing indoor and outdoor trivia at the same time, because in the next, I don't know, month or so they're gonna allow that sidewalk space, to open back up in Red Bank. So we'll have indoor and outdoor going, and I'll be running back and forth in both. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I can't wait. But I tried so hard, and it didn't work.
It's always, hey, like you said, you always got next year.
Yeah, exactly right. So I have a question that I'm very curious about. You were talking a little bit about the beans and the single origin and whatnot. How is it? Or is it difficult at all? Like, what is the process of sourcing some of those beans? Because I've read a lot, about how challenging it can be for small, independent, locally owned coffee shops to find quality beans and quality product, because places like Starbucks just have a monopoly over like all of Central America, for those kind of things. But I mean, you guys your beans are fantastic. So I'm curious, like, do you ever run into trouble with that? Like, is it difficult? What's that whole process look like?
We got to remember that it's a crop. There's growing seasons. Depending on the coffee, we'll do futures or forwards on the coffees to make sure that we have.
What's that mean? You do futures?
So basically, we'll. So let me retract before I even get there. How to find good coffee.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Let's go there. How do you find good coffee? Do you hop a plane to Costa Rica and you make a deal with somebody, one of the farmers, and then are you going to import all the coffee? So then you got to get all the taxes and all the bureaucratic BS.
Hey, Christian, do you remember pictures?
All the bureaucratic BS, or are you just going to go to someone like a Royal New York who is an importer?
Okay.
Luckily, in New Jersey, we live by a port where most of the coffee comes in. It'll come in here on the West Coast, Texas, in Houston, and then there's a warehouse in like Minnesota for some reason, probably because of Cargill.
Yes. Okay.
Cargill's a big food company, and I would say that is the reasoning behind it. So the importer. So we're in a great place to now. Lucky for me, again, my wife's a genius. She's had a great relationship with Royal New York over the past. Last week was 9 years for us. So over the past 9 years that she's been able to build a relationship. The importer knows what we like. He knows what we don't like. Futures or forwards. So if you want a coffee, you like the Costa Rica. So the Costa Rica we get, it has a growing season. So what do you do when it's not in that growing season? Coffee only lasts so long.
Yeah.
You can only get so much out of it. So what we'll do is we'll keep it with the importer. We'll pay a vig, if you will, to hey, listen, I can't run it out of that Costa Rican. It's too popular. I'll take 10 bags for the next year. So if that's the case, we'll monitor. Hey, you got 4 left. But we'll do that for all our big coffees, the Brazils, the Sumatras, because you don't want to run out of the big guys. So we'll buy futures on it. Some of the other stuff, we always have trouble. We're always switching an organic medium decaf roast.
Okay.
It seems like for some reason we always get a Maya, a Peru. Right now we have the Mexican decaf. Like I said before, it could be my favorite coffee in the store. But we will basically, it's a growing season, always hard to get one, but we'll switch. We have about let's say 10 to 15 coffees. And so let's say at least 10 of them are solid. We're not getting rid of them. It's the same coffee year in, year out. But then it gives you the liberty that we got 5 to play with.
That's my favorite.
So last month was, March was National Women's Month. So what we did, we are a women-owned coffee shop. We went out and bought a Honduras.
That was so good.
That was grown by a woman-owned farm in Honduras. And and it honestly, man, I wish that all coffee sold as good as that Honduras bag.
Yeah, man, that you couldn't keep that on the shelf. I remember I came in the one day and it was actually it was a Euro quote. I can't remember who said it to me. They were like, try this and like try it now before it's gone because and I bought a bag and I drank it in like a week.
Yeah, we have that might be the white whale for me. That might be my white whale. Like I'll always be searching for that.
Yeah, man, it was so good. It was so good, and I love just like the subtle pink on the packaging you did. Like it was so nice.
Well, it's for women.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Again, my wife's a genius.
Right? She really is.
She really is, man.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know what she sees in me. It's not like I'm like super funny. I'm not like really tall. I don't have a ton of money. I don't know, man. But I guess it's because I get up at 5 a.m. to go open the coffee shop up.
Yeah, exactly.
So
right?
she doesn't have to.
Yeah, exactly.
But she did it for many years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was curious. The coffee beans you're talking about, kind of like when you get a raw bean, is that the term? I guess
Green bean.
Right? Green bean. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Like what's like the shelf life on that? Like how quickly do you got to make sure you're turning stuff over so that it doesn't go bad, so to speak. Because I don't think I've ever actually, truth be told, I don't think I've ever seen a green bean. I've only ever seen coffee beans that have been roasted.
Sometimes I find them in my pants. Like there's like for everyone who can't
like
see
sand
me,
at the beach.
like sand at the beach. So I'm one of those new wave kids that like to roll their pants because I get hot ankles and sweat a lot. So every now and then I'm always like a bean will fall out here and there. I really like it's
a new wave kid. That's great.
So a green bean, it's got a shelf life of a solid 6 months.
Okay,
solid.
That's good. That's longer than I would have guessed.
And you could push it a year.
Yeah.
But the thing is, a green coffee is porous, so it's got to be temperature controlled because it'll take in moisture and it'll like even the burlap sacks that we have, they're porous and just lets a lot of moisture in.
Yeah, because I was trying to think, like, I feel like I should have seen a green bean at some point because my wife and I took a trip to Costa Rica a couple of years ago, and one of the like little adventure days we did, one of the things was they took us through a brewing process on this like Costa Rican homestead. And the one thing that really sticks out to me, and I can't remember what it was even the purpose of it was, they had like a cow walking around. Like
washing.
Thing. That's what I couldn't remember what it was. I vividly remember the cow walking around. I can't remember what it was. They walked us through the whole process of like roasting the beans and like how they did the coffee and like the little bit of sugar they put in Costa Rica is like a big thing. And I bought my friend this little like single use pour over thing because he's big on coffee too. He used to work at Starbucks, and it was just such a cool experience watching that whole thing. We're out in like the mountains and the hills, in Costa Rica right before we did zip lining and a bunch of other shit. It was so cool. It was so much fun that little trip just to look at the zip lining going over the. You ever done zip lining before?
No, not since a kid.
Oh man, as a kid you did it. Oh man.
Backyard zip lining.
Nice. That's awesome.
Now the one. What was I gonna say with yours? Go ahead.
No. Yeah, I was just gonna say we were talking about Costa Rica and just like the whole experience of seeing some of that stuff firsthand. It's like I. It's just like a whole different ball game because we were talking before about like the Dunkin' Donuts thing, and it's like it's one of those things where it's been like Americanized.
3-bean blend, Colombian.
What's that?
Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, is that what it is?
It's a 3-bean Colombian blend.
That sounds like it should be better than it actually is.
It's not a bad coffee.
Yeah.
It's not a bad coffee. It'll score 84, 85.
Really?
It's a good coffee.
So you know what? It's probably because I've never actually had it black. 'Cause that's how I feel like you get the real flavor.
My belief, again, this is my personal is the brewing method. I think that,
Okay.
I think that there's too much water in it. I don't think they're using enough coffee to water ratio.
That actually makes a lot of sense because I've definitely been on like friends trips, where you're in an Airbnb and the only thing you have to make coffee is those little like Mr. Coffee pots or whatever. And if I let my friend make it, they're doing 2 scoops of coffee to like 12 ounces of water.
Mm-hmm.
Me, I'm doing 12 scoops of coffee to about 5 ounces of water, like.
I'm very lucky that I roast coffee, but my wife won't let me drink the good stuff. We'll drink
the good stuff.
Yeah, I'll drink the lower end. But again, all our stuff isn't lower end, but like a nice Brazil.
Yeah.
60% of the world's coffee. Nice Brazil.
Is that really 60% of the world's coffee?
Yeah.
I never knew that. That's fascinating.
Yeah, I got all these fun, stupid facts in my head about coffee.
Yeah, I mean, to me, to me, like we were talking a little bit before, like the world of coffee, I think is just one of the most fascinating things in the entire world because it's, it's so for a very long time it felt like it was such an Americanized thing, when you think about like you go to the grocery store and you buy like your Folgers or whatever, your Maxwell House, and that doesn't feel as craft or as delicious as going to a place like yours or buying beans like that and making it yourself. And I think there's just like this art to it that a lot of people don't, it's like, oh, it's just my fuel in the morning. It's like, yeah, it's like, I don't drink my coffee in the morning because I need the caffeine. I drink my coffee in the morning because I like the flavor of it. I like the part of it, and the caffeine is just an added benefit. I have a freakishly unnatural amount of normal energy anyway, so I don't really need the caffeine, but like I'm a morning person like you, so.
Yeah, I get much more done by about 9, 10 o'clock. By 11 o'clock, basically my day's done.
Yeah.
Like I'm done with the rush. I got like a 2:30 to 5:30 rush, and then that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, I do more before 7 than most people.
Yeah, no,
and
I can
I'm
totally
still,
relate.
Like we talked about trying to find the time. It's hard for me to do anything between 6 and 6 because that's when we're open and that's when we're working. So like I'm like, do I get up at 4?
Yeah.
Because I got to start taking care of the dogs around 5:15, and then be out of the house by about 5:40 to get to Coffee Corral by 6 and pick up bagels.
What kind of dogs do you have?
I got 2 miniature pinchers. One we had since a pup, and then we just got another one 2 months ago.
Oh, that's awesome.
From what is it? The Humane Society out in Tim Falls.
Nice. Yeah, my dog is we got him from a shelter in Woodbridge, I think. He's the laziest dog in the entire world. He's a pit lab mix, which is surprising that he's so lazy. He's the cutest thing in the entire world, but he is just like I always joke him and Jackie are on the same schedule because I'm the morning person. Like I'm up very early and I'm doing stuff, and I always have to like try to be quiet because if I let Jackie, she'll sleep until 10 o'clock in the morning. She is not a morning person at all, so she always gets mad at me. But her and my dog are on the same schedule. My dog, like, even if I try to get him to like wake up and go out in the morning so I can feed him, he'll be sitting there looking at me like, no, like, unless he like has to pee, he's like, nah, I'm just gonna chill here.
I got the complete opposite, man. I got 2 dogs that are up, and typically the 2 rabbits that we have, they wake us up because they'll start throwing things around at like 5 and change because they want to get fed. I'm very lucky that the horses that one is retired in Virginia, another one's in Colts Neck, so I don't have anything to do with those guys.
Yeah,
which is nice.
Have you ever tried riding horse?
I've ridden 3 times now.
Yeah, you like it?
Yeah, it's not for me.
Yeah, me neither.
Not to say that's not for me. It's just that it's very difficult for me to like. I don't know what I'm doing, and my wife is exceptionally good at it, where she could just like she flicks her finger and she's galloping, and I can't even make them trot.
Yep.
The fact that I know those terminologies, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, so I'm the exact same way. We rode some horses in Costa Rica as part of one of the things we did, and I enjoyed it. But like I'm not gonna say that I rode the horse as much as the horse was just he was driving and I was just kind of chilling there. I'm like, you go wherever you want to go,
and that's the wrong thing to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the wrong. I've been on one as a kid. And then twice when we went to Hawaii.
Yeah.
So one on North Shore of Oahu, and then the other the Big Island.
Exactly.
Big Island was sweet, and this guy I was the worst one out of the whole group, man. That's so not to say that I had to be good at everything, but I just can't suck so bad.
I know. Yeah, I was able to steer my horse pretty well, but if he wanted to go a little bit faster, I'm like, I ain't gonna stop you. I don't know how. So you go. You want to get the front of the pack? I'm cool. I'll tell you where to go, but that's all I got.
My wife jumps them. She
she
jumps.
I killed myself.
All summer now we're gonna be going to horse shows, and I'm gonna be. It's funny that you can equate horse girls are like truck guys. And I love trucks, man.
That is the best analogy.
Yeah. So that's why we get along really well.
Yeah.
And you need sweet trucks for horses. I'll trailer a horse. I get a diesel truck out of it. Sure. I'll trailer you anywhere you want to go. You want to go to Florida in the winter? I'll trailer it down there. No problem.
It's funny. One of my good friends, they just recently bought a big Airstream, and it was it's like, oh, you want to buy an Airstream? Well, guess what? I got to buy this sweet new 2020 pickup truck to also carry that Airstream. It's like, giving you take.
That's it.
That's awesome. So tell me what's if there is something, if you guys have thought about it, talk about what's next for Coffee Corral. You guys gonna just keep on doing what you're doing? You got any big ideas? You can secret sauce you can share?
Well, we got approval from the town of Red Bank to expand. We were gonna this is the best thing that we never did so far. We were the original. The building where it is right now, that would stay. That was going to be strictly a roasting facility.
Yep.
And then on the frontage of Shrewsbury Ave, we were going to put two brand new buildings up. One was going to be a brand new Coffee Corral, and the other one was going to be a deli.
Get out!
It all went through, and one thing led to another, and So before Coffee Corral, I was working with my father-in-law in construction, and so we had a job, and then we didn't, and then we got a job, and then one thing this vicious cycle of jobs, pandemic, wedding.
Right.
Do we need to do this anymore? Now we're using this outdoor space. If we would have ended construction, end of construction would probably been February of March of 2020, just in time for that pandemic to hit, and so we'd have two buildings that we're paying rent on with all the
not be able to use really
all the construction costs, very similar to a Count Basie.
Yeah,
which I feel.
Yeah, that's where they built the whole Vogel. Yeah,
I feel so bad for them. I mean, they'll come back.
Yeah.
But I mean, they put millions of dollars into it, and now they were banking on those 600 shows a year.
So are you still? Do you think you're still going to go through with this idea, or just kind of?
It's on. I wouldn't say it's on a permanent cancellation, but it's definitely way back on the back burner.
Yeah.
I would say the number one thing for us would be just to be in the community more.
Yep.
So what we're doing right now is, again, we're trying to get back to the community for the kids, man.
Yeah.
The ponies, the petting zoos. We're gonna do a midsummer carnival. We're looking again to do the music on the weekends. We're looking into a movie night. All these
awesome.
different ideas that would bring people together, because nothing makes me happier. I got this one kid who cuts through from the primary school to his house every day.
Yeah.
And he'll tell me, hey, looks good, but you could do a lot better. I don't think this kid's more than 9. And he is, dude.
He's like, hey, let me tell you something.
So, I saw him 2 weeks ago, and he walked through the corral, as we like to call it, and he's like, you could clean it up a little bit. I'm dead serious, man. This kid, I love this kid. This little Latino kid, man. He's got my heart. And then I saw him the other day, and he's like, it looks good, but where are the flowers? I'm like, it's not planting season yet, man.
Wow.
Stay tuned. I'm almost gonna take the cotton candy machine out just to make him a cotton candy so he can like stop busting my chops.
Here, shut up and take this.
Take this, kid. But I'll tell
man.
you, even just having that interaction is wonderful because 10 years ago that wasn't there.
Yeah.
We do have a lot of people in the neighborhood that are customers, which is great. We are now a destination where people will come to Red Bank just to come to us.
That's awesome.
So if there's anything that I would like to expand on, I would just like to, let's say, hopefully our service gets better, our product gets better, and we remain busy.
Yeah, man. I hope for the same thing, and that's that movie idea you talked about. I love, like, I could just see on the side wall and the thing there, movie projection screen. I would be there, watch it. I'm a big movie guy. I'd be there every time. That sounds awesome.
So the nice thing about the gift and the curse about working with my wife was before we worked together, she had all these ideas, but she couldn't implement.
Right.
Now she's got an implement guy, and so now I'm like, you saw those lights that are up.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, I want some lights in the yard.
Yeah, right.
So now she's got lights in the yard. Hey, I want to do this, and I'm like, all right, that's nice. She goes, no, you got to put it together. So now I'm looking at speakers, I'm looking at a projector, I'm looking at this, and I'm honestly, man, when you see those kids though, when we had a line for the scavenger hunt, we got crushed. We had a line from the front door around the corner on Shrewsbury Ave.
Yeah.
Almost intimidating. But, like, after an hour when we kind of corralled everyone and got everyone settled.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. Pun intended, everyone. when we corralled everyone, it was nice to take a step back because the pressure was off, and then just to see everyone. We had spies, family members, and there was no complaining. Everyone was just like, man, this is just so great. Especially in a year with a pandemic where give me something to do. I'll do anything.
Yeah.
Oh, a petting zoo for my kids. I get my kids out of the house for 4 hours. Thank you very much. Midsummer Carnival coming. Coffee Corral, probably around 4th of July.
Man, I can't wait. I'm super excited for all this, and I'll probably be back in tomorrow or Saturday to get some coffee and a chai latte for Jackie.
We got some new stuff coming. Stay tuned. Some new coffees.
You know, it's funny. The last thing I want to say is we went to we tried a new place for breakfast the other day in our town, Almost Home. Mm-hmm. Place is phenomenal. The food is just like out of this world. And she ordered a chai latte, and the first thing she said was, she goes, it's not as good as Coffee Corrals. She's like, it's good. She's like, it's not as good as Coffee Corrals.
That makes my heart so big.
Right? Like,
That's
I was
so
like,
big.
this is great.
I have a very hard time traveling and finding coffee. Not to say that there's bad coffee. I equate coffee to pizza.
Yeah.
I've never had bad pizza.
Right.
Just some is a lot better than others.
Yeah.
I'll drink gas station coffee. I'll drink any coffee you put in front of me. If it's free, it's for me.
Yeah, we've all
and
been
I'll
there.
even pay.
Yeah.
I mean, as a roaster, that's the one thing you have to do. You have to drink coffee. How do you know what something tastes like if you don't drink it?
Exactly.
Like, I can sit at the roaster and tell you this is a great bean. What is that based on? The color? The sound?
The sound.
Oh, there's a lot of my wife this morning. There's sounds, man. She stopped and she goes, "There's something's not working." She's like, "I don't hear a sound in Coffee Corral because everything is a hum. When everything's not humming."
Oh wow, okay.
Oh, when you're there, we're there enough.
She got like that sixth sense.
She like something's humming and something's not humming. Ended up like the fridge needed to kick. But like, there's things are some people say we're there too much.
That's awesome. I absolutely
but it's hard.
love it.
I'm very happy that it's really nice to have somewhere to go every day that you truly enjoy being there. That like people like it's not like it's like a bar scene. People are constantly coming in and out, in and out. So you're having 10, 15, 20 conversations a day.
And you're making people happy. Yeah, I'm one of them. My wife's one of them. We love it. Well, Eric, man, thanks so much for coming on today. I really enjoyed this conversation. This was awesome. Everybody, make sure if you haven't already, check out Coffee Corral. As we always talk about, the Local Fix Foundation, the nonprofit organization that my friends and I founded, we are here working very hard to bring you new events this year as things open up a little bit more. We got a lot of cool things on the docket. We'll have more episodes of The Mix coming up where we talk with other local business owners and community owners. Thank you again, Eric, for coming. This was absolutely amazing.
Thanks for having me.
Christian, thanks for making us look good and sound good, Ming and everybody else at A Shared Universe.
I got one thing to say.
Oh, yeah. Hey, man.
Hey,
Go.
guys, if you do come in, say hello, but also say that you heard us on the podcast. Yeah.
That's right. Now we're talking. Love
Yeah.
it. Cross promotion, baby. I love it. Well, thanks everybody again for listening. Eric, thanks again. I'm Matt. Everybody, take care.